Forum.
Okay,
So whenever you're ready to go, I have to leave at 6:30. So, anyway, and we'll go from there. And if you still want me to do the timing with the 3 minutes, just let me know. Just whatever you want to do.
that's fine. I was trying to print my agenda and for some reason I lost it on, I'm operating 2 computers here right now.
Who just
So-
came in? Oh, that's Brittany.
Brittany. Hi, Brittany.
Sylvia, that's Sylvia.
Alex.
Okay, there we go. I see Sylvia's in her car.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
All right.
I don't see Sylvia.
Okay,
Julie.
we've got
Hi, Julie.
Alex. Sylvia's here. She's in her car. And we've got Julie's here. Yay. So the only one we're missing from the board is Sandra.
Oh, okay.
Everybody else is here.
Okay.
Sylvia.
Why can't I find that?
Everybody. Sylvia might have the wrong.
She popped
Zoom,
up because
'cause
I saw her and she was in
was-
her car.
Yeah,
In
she
a
was gonna be
car.
in the car.
Okay.
Everyone.
Okay.
Somebody's on the phone.
She's Zoom music. That's Sylvia. I heard her
Is
voice.
that Sylvia? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to do it on my phone. So yeah, it's me.
That's fine.
Okay, everybody, we'll just go ahead. Is it 6 yet? 6, I mean.
It is.
5:30?
It's 5:34.
5:34. Okay, and Elizabeth, for whatever reason, I can't find my email that I sent to you with the agenda on it, so you're gonna have to prompt us as we go.
The way we did it in the past is that Catherine would read the mission statement. And
Right,
then we would start, so call when you're ready for start the meeting and you read the mission statement and then we'll go from there.
well, that's mission statement. Okay, I'm ready to go. Okay,
Okay, I can read the mission statement if you want me to.
I have it, and
Okay,
then you.
then I'll leave you be.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is June 2nd. This
June
5:30.
1st.
I'm rushing this thing. June 1st, 2023. Let's see. The League of Women Voters of Corpus Christi area is a nonpartisan grassroots civic organization which encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. And at this time, we're going to get Liz to go ahead and call the roll and establish a quorum.
Okay, if you'll say here, Alice,
Here.
Sandra, Alex, who just came in? Someone just came in. Do you know who this one came in?
Sandra.
Is it Sandra? Okay, we got Sandra here. Sandra, say yes, please. Okay. Alex,
Here.
Eli,
Here.
Brittany,
Here.
Sylvia,
Here.
Julie,
Here.
Tim.
Here.
We have 2 non-voting members who are here, which is Chris Garcia and Sally Ferris. Alice, we have a quorum with 9 board members present.
Okay, thank you. So at this
Mhm.
time, we're going to ask Liz to go ahead and read the minutes. I believe it was of the 4th,
Right.
May 4th.
Usually what we did instead of just reading the minutes is that Catherine would just ask if we want any approval and go from there.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
I move that we approve the minutes. Sylvia Campos.
Okay. Sylvia has moved to accept the minutes. Do I hear a second?
I'll second. This is Eli McKay.
Okay, thank you, Eli.
It has been moved in second that we accept the minutes. Are there any questions? Comments? If not, all in favor, let it be known by waving at the camera.
Or saying aye,
Aye.
I'm on the phone.
We know.
All right, Sylvia, Sylvia's saying aye.
Okay.
So we, the minutes will stand approved as read. The next thing on our agenda, if somebody has it, I believe. Are
It's the-
are my
It's
Go
the
ahead.
president's remarks.
Pres-
You're up.
president's remarks? Okay. Y'all have to forgive me for being kind of not ready. I just drove in or zoomed in from a doctor's appointment. And I've got two computers going, but none of them seem to be working like they should. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody who was either agreed to stay on and finish another cycle, and for those who have accepted the nominating committee's request to be partakers of our leadership team. I know that many of us know each other, but sometimes we don't always draw a picture in our heads when a name is called. So I just want to express my gratitude. There's a lot of work to be done. We're coming up on election cycle, and we're going to have to do quite a bit of work. So just thank you so much for being willing to serve, and I appreciate everybody that is here. And we're going to get some things done this year, and we're going. And I also would like to comment on Eli's initiatives and Alexandra. With the voter registration. You guys have done a bang up job, and I certainly appreciate it. That is, amen, Tim. Tim's given a thumbs up, and that's the biggest part of our job is to educate and sign people up to vote. And I do appreciate it. I had intended to be partakers at Ray High School and at Moody. And I will tell you, last week, people must have seen my schedule and they said, let's give her some hell, because everything last week just went. All of my best made plans did not work out. So I apologize to you ladies for y'all accepting my willingness, my inability to show up, because I did have a really tough week last week with my appointments. And just to want to say thank you. And Sally, thank you for you and your committee, you and Tim. Y'all did a great job on the committee, the nominating committee, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate a vote of confidence, and I will be doing the very best that I can. I am on a learning curve. I've done a lot of leadership stuff, but it's not necessarily been in this capacity. So I will do the very best that I can. Chris, thank you for being here. Chris made sure she wanted to be here, and I have no problem with that. And any of those who are not on the voting committee or the executive committee, I appreciate y'all being here, because being in the know is always helpful. And I'm going to depend on those of you who have this long years of experience to help me. And I'm asking that you please not hesitate to step in and correct me when I go down the wrong path, or as I need help. I would appreciate your help. So thank you so much. So at this time, you got the information and a request to prepare a 3-minute, and we said 3 minutes because I do want to make this a timely meeting, and everybody is going in different directions. So I don't want to hold you past an acceptable time. So let's see. Sylvia, We're gonna get,
Yes,
there's
thank you.
there's no particular pecking order here, but Sylvia did say
Okay.
that she had another meeting to go to. So I'm gonna allow Sylvia to go ahead and introduce herself and express her goals. And then we will move on, and it doesn't matter, anybody can step up, just raise your hand or jump in. Sylvia?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Wow, that sounds great. So,
Yes, it is.
thank you so much. Congratulations, first of all. Thank you for making history, and thank you so much for agreeing to lead us in this next 2 years. So it's not that I'm gonna be attending a meeting. It's an event. I just want that corrected because I'm over here at getting ready to go to K-Space, a mural thing, and I've been looking forward to it. So I asked Alice if it'd be okay if I went first. So thank you, Alice. Okay, so mine is going to be really brief. I'm going to try to get it under 3 minutes. I'm used to that when I used to do public comments. So, so right now, what I'm looking at is 148 members that we have, and the goal that I had last year and hopefully this year is to try to get our membership up to $200 members. So right now we actually have 50 of our own lapsed members, and I know that y'all had already expressed some support in helping make calls as far as board members, because I think it does make a difference when a board member calls a former member to ask them to renew. So I do have the 50, and if we can make sure that I've got like 5 of y'all to agree to make the calls, that would be 10 each. That'd be easy peasy. So we can do this. So that's what I'm going to be asking for. If you don't mind either texting me or emailing me, because I'm on the phone and I can't see you guys, but I know that y'all are there and willing to support. So I'm asking for at least 5. The next thing is I wanted to make sure that that we try to get our membership mixer. It started with Catherine. I thought that was a great idea. Catherine had suggested that we start our July, a New Year's, July and New Year's in July. And it was a huge success when we had it in 2021. So I thought we get that going again in July. So with your help and with your, if you agree, it's something that I think, we could work towards for the membership mixer for the general membership. And that's really all I had, Alice. So I think that was under 3 minutes.
It is, you're at 15 seconds. Way to go.
Way to go, Sylvia.
Okay, good.
Yes, and Elizabeth is keeping time for us, so I thank Elizabeth. She says she didn't mind calling people down, so the timer is really not for the faint of heart. Sometimes they want, just like let them go a little bit. But thank you so much, Sylvia, and thank you, Elizabeth.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and enjoy your event. Okay. Okay.
I will.
Okay, so does anybody
So
want
I'm going to stay on for another 15 minutes and then I'm leaving. So just FYI.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is ask everybody to raise their hand, and whoever pops up on the screen first, and we'll just go in that order.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, Alex got her hand up.
Oh, Alex. Okay, go, Alex.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah. So my full name is Alexandra, but everyone calls me Alex. So you are all welcome to call me that. I've lived in Corpus since 2019. I'm from Wisconsin originally, and then I did my undergrad in Minnesota. I was a gopher, so I was at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities in environmental sciences, and then I made my way to Corpus after doing a lot of environmental work, a lot of conservation. I also worked as a scuba instructor for a couple years after college. That was a lot of fun. Now I work for Texas Rising, which is a branch of Texas Freedom Network. It is a nonpartisan nonprofit that's been around for about 28 years. Texas Rising specifically focuses on getting the youth registered to vote. In my year that I've been in this position, we registered over 600 people for the last election. So your girl knows how to register some people to vote. So and I've worked with Eli here now for, gosh, about a year. And Eli currently works with Texas Rising. So yeah, Eli's really been helping me with the voter registration stuff and really giving me the supplies. And yeah, Texas Rising can definitely be a really great resource for working with the league because we really focus on 30 and under. So we're a great way to get young folks into the league. And I think, yeah, I'm really excited for us to work together and really bring like two somewhat different groups together that all really focus on the same thing. So yeah, and my goals for this year, I really want to get, with the help of all of y'all, really get our foot in the door with all of the local high schools. I think that is where we have lacked, at least where I've had trouble before. I just don't have as many contacts. So I know that you all are a wealth of knowledge and contacts with the high schools. That's my number one goal, is just consistently getting the league in twice a year at every high school in Corpus Christi, and maybe expanding out as we have time. And also just getting out there in the community with community events and helping with membership as we can, because I think that with voter registration, we get in contact with a lot of people, so we can help Sylvia with that. So yeah, that's what I have. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Raise your hands. Sandra? Thank you, Alex. We appreciate that.
Mine should be shorter than 3 minutes because my big goal for this year is to learn what I'm doing as the treasurer. So if I can achieve that, I will consider myself to have succeeded. I would also like to see, I mean, I've been working with the voters registration. I'm afraid I just haven't been available for most of them this year, but I would really like to see us get a lot of younger people in and retain them. And to that end, I just got something from the state league about membership and retention, a seminar they're putting on, and I just signed up for that to see about doing that. You know, other than that, my goals are pretty modest, because if I can handle that, I'm going to be pretty proud of myself. So.
Thank you, Sandra. We kind of have something very similar. Just learn what we need to learn, what we're trying to do, what we're tasked with. So I can appreciate that. Thank you, Sandra. Raise your hands if you're sure. Okay, Brittany, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Brittany Young. For those who don't know me, some people know me from the Nueces County Voter, which is just an Instagram that I ran to help, you know, get out the vote and then just bring awareness about issues, local issues. So I've been involved with social media that way. I am originally from Corpus Christi. I moved out of Corpus in 2012 and transferred to Texas State University, where I got my BA in International Studies with a focus in Asia. After that, after I graduated, spent 4 years teaching English in China. And then the pandemic kind of brought me, or I always say it brought me back, but you know, I was just visiting and got stuck here anyways. But during that time, I got my master's in instructional design and technology with Bloomsburg University. Big thanks to Alice, because I remember talking with her and I was like on the fence about pursuing my master's degree. So yeah, I did that, but by trade, I'm an instructional designer at Idaho National Lab. So I'm hoping to bring a lot of my instructional design skills to my position, working with social media and website. Let's see, my goals for this term is really to reestablish the league's presence on social media, and primarily trying to outreach and recruit younger people into the league. So that's I hope to like really maximize and utilize social media and all the different features that it has to aid with recruitment, and then also really focusing on political education and helping prepare people for the upcoming election. So I hope to really utilize the social media and website in that way. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate that. You know, sometimes we give people encouragement and even forget. And so I'm glad that you reminded me that encouraged you to go on. I do that all the time. So thank you for that. All right. Who wants to go next? I see you got some hearts too. That's beautiful.
I'll go.
Okay, Liz.
Okay. I'm writing down. I'm the secretary that I'm completing. This is my second term. I've done 3 years. I have 1 more year to go. I'm originally born and raised in Corpus Christi, grew up in Portland, went to UT, graduated from there, teacher back here, Corpus Christi, married, kids, grandmother. And also I was a freelance journalist for 10 years while the kids were going through college to help them. My basic goal is that, and I've said it previously, is that it's wonderful we register so many voters. My true focus is that we get all those registered voters to go vote. Because registering, as I've always said, is easy. We go to them. We need to encourage and figure out ways like the rest of Texas does on how we can get people to go to the polls, because only like 50 to 55% of the Texans registered are actually voting. And I've said this repeatedly, smaller counties, and I don't mean small in size, I mean small by population, are ruling the state of Texas. And if Harris County, if they could get their act together and everybody in Harris County who was eligible to vote voted, Harris County would rule the state. And my husband likes to say, well, just because, you get everybody voting, they may not vote the way you want. But I said that doesn't matter, because true democracy is when everyone participates. So that's my goal. I'm done.
Thank you, Liz. Appreciate that. Next. Oh, Tim. Tim has his hand up. Sometimes it's hard to see those yellow hands. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I'll start with the bio part first. I was a Navy brat. My dad was in the Navy, and we moved every 2 or 3 years. We spent more time in Taiwan than anywhere else. So sometimes when I'm trying to be a wise guy, somebody says, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Taiwan," and they kind of give me a funny look. But after that, he retired when I was 16, retired to his home in Kansas. I was a Kansas Jayhawk, where I got undergraduate, went to the University of Washington in Seattle for a law degree. And my first semester in law school, my mom and dad moved to Corpus Christi. I went out the first night here in Corpus Christi, and I met this very interesting lady. First Texas lady I'd met, and later this month we will have been married 40 years. So you Texas ladies are so impressive. I married the first Texas lady I met. I recently retired from being a Texas litigator here in Corpus Christi for about 40 years. And we've got 2 kids. One is an emergency medicine doctor in Washington, D.C. She graduated from CCISD, as did her sister. And her sister is currently a Foreign Service officer serving in London, and probably won't get this assigned as cushy a job the next 2-year assignment. But we're going to take advantage of the fact that she's over there, and we're going to go visit her this summer. So I've been enjoying retirement the last couple of years, and a big reason I've enjoyed it is working with all of you guys. I ran into you guys back when we were doing the redistricting fight, and I said to myself, who are these smart, committed people? And they keep showing up all the time. So I said, okay, they look like a good group to join. And I was right. My goal, I've been the media director, traditional media director for a year. And basically what I do is I contact the local media, print, broadcast, and it's always hit or miss about whether they do a story. And fortunately, we have a budding media star in front of us, our president, Alice. And Alice has been on KIII. I didn't have anything to do with that one. But KRIS, KEDT today, and a nice story that was in the collar. Digital version yesterday. I don't get the print version anymore, so I'm not sure when that'll be in there, but hopefully on Sunday. And I would want to continue to do that. And one thing I've done recently is I've kept a pretty good tab on the Texas legislature, so I kind of knew what they were doing on a lot of important issues, and reported to you periodically about that. But anyway, don't have to do that for another 2 years. but basically I hope to continue helping out the way I've helped out in the past. And so that's kind of what I hope to get done. I would like to get my BDR renewed. I was disappointed when I signed up in October. It was only going to last for 2 months. It expired at the end of the year. So I'm going to try to get that renewed and help Alex out. So those are my goals for the upcoming year.
Thank you, Tim. I really appreciate that. And you have done a fantastic job of the during the legislative session by keeping us updated. I mean, what you did was priceless, and yes, give him a hand. I was just so glad that you were doing that and watching and being Observer Corps and coming back and giving us some updates on that. That was priceless. And so I encourage you to continue to help us out with that, because everybody doesn't have time to sit and watch and be part of that. So thank you so much for that, Tim. All right.
Thank you, Alice.
Yes. Who wants to go next? Well, I guess, okay, there we go, Eli. I was getting ready to do the teacher thing. Start calling names.
I could tell. I'm always that person that waits for that moment, and then right before the teacher calls, I'm like, okay, yeah, here I am. So hello, everyone. Most of y'all already know me, but I'll do a short bio. My name is Eli McKay. I do prefer they, them pronouns. I moved to Corpus Christi for 2 years, about 12 years ago. So I've been here almost 12 years. I fell in love with it and started organizing in the community about 2018. And so I've had a passion for electoral politics and voter registration since, but one thing that's always been very near and dear to my heart is making sure that groups are inclusive. And so being elected VP of DE&I is very exciting for me, and just being a part of an organization that prioritizes DE&I is also very exciting. So one thing I wanted to do real quick is just go over like the league and their quote about DE&I, just to kind of remind everyone what it's all about. So the quote is that there shall be no barriers to full participation in this organization based on gender, gender identity, ethnicity, race, native or indigenous origin, age, generation, sexual orientation, culture, religion, belief system, marital status, parental status, socioeconomic status, language, accent, ability status, mental health, educational level or background, geography, nationality, work style, work experience, job role function, thinking style, personality type, physical appearance, political perspective or affiliation, and or any other characteristics that can be identified as recognizing or illustrating diversity. So that in a nutshell are my goals for the next couple of years, just to get everyone to understand how important DE&I is, not only in our organization, but in our everyday life as well. So the goals are mainly to come to every meeting with something that we can look through a DE&I lens, whether it's educational or fun or uncomfortable also, because sometimes DE&I can be uncomfortable as well. So that is really all that I have, but thank you all. I'm very excited, looking forward to the future.
Thank you, Eli. Appreciate that reading of the goals for the DEI committee, and it is all inclusive. I don't believe that there's anything left behind, so we cannot even pretend to entertain excluding someone, because that captures it all, even down to our own personal thinking. So thank you for reading that, and we need to keep that in mind. DEI is in a big hell of a fight this year. We already see so many negative things happening in terms of DEI, and so we're gonna have to fight like hell and if y'all will excuse my bad language, but that's what it's going to take for us to continue to be all inclusive of everyone. So thank you for that, Eli. And it seems like everybody that moves to Corpus for a short period of time ends up staying here for a long period of time. So thank you for that. All right, who's next?
We haven't heard from Julie.
Julie?
Hey, well,
Hey.
I'm one of those people that came here to work 17 years ago and ended up staying here. I came as a union organizer to organize the hospitals. We had success with one of them, the Corpus Christi Medical Center. They have a nurse union. The others, not yet, but I hope that happens one day, not only for the nurses, but for everyone. And I am vice president of program. I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm very glad to hear Alice say that we need to fight like hell, because I believe, I hope I've been doing that for about 40 something years in the social justice movement. And I run the part of the league that I think gets people out to vote. So many people, they don't vote because they don't think it makes a difference in their life. But with our positions that we have and with the education that we're able to provide to people and the information, it gets them to go vote. People don't vote because they don't think it matters. And we have a vehicle and resources to show them that it does. So that would be my goal this year, is to use those resources to educate people informally and let them make their own decisions, and also to get an organizer course started so that people will pay attention to what our local government and institutions are doing, because I think that's the other reason people would go vote, if they realized how things go down here in town. So that's all I have to say.
Yes. Thank you, Julie. I don't want to go, well, anyway, for lack of knowledge, people perish. So education is our main focus on getting people out there. And I'm just hearing this same idea resounding over and over, is getting people to the polls. All right. So
Alice, that's
yes.
pretty much everyone on the board. Have we missed
Right.
anybody from the board?
Is anybody out there that we didn't get?
And we still have Chris, because she's a
Right.
member of the board, and she's non-voting. And then
Right.
Sally's here as,
Right.
and so
Yeah.
however you want to do it, but those are the last
And
two as far as.
President Hopkins.
Well,
sorry, what?
we'll talk about that. I do want to give Chris and Sally an opportunity to
Okay.
speak to us. Chris says we always lean on her for information, and she's always present and dutiful. So I do want to give Chris an opportunity, and then after Chris, Sally, would you be willing to talk to us as well? Okay, thank you.
Great. I'm Chris Davis Garcia. I joined the league in 2004. So I'm coming up on almost 20 years of activity. I've served as your president on 2 different occasions from 2007 to 2009, and then again 2017 to 2019. And in between that, I served on the state board of League of Women Voters of Texas. And that was a wonderful, insightful position where I learned so much more about the league. I've been editing the voter newsletter since about 2005, and I have a journalism degree and political science, and enjoy doing organizational newsletters. So that's what got me interested in making sure the league was communicating in whatever way the board wanted the newsletter to communicate. We do publish 10 issues during the year. We usually take June off and December, but that's kind of can be modified whenever we need to. And Madam President, last year I think we combined a May-June issue, but then we started up again in July. So I look forward to working with each of you. I've made some notes about some of your interests and your background, and I'm thinking we really ought to highlight a good portrait and a small paragraph of whatever you'd want to say about yourself. I think that is helpful for members. So I'll reach out to each of you on that. We've already started gathering material for the next newsletter. We typically publish right after the board meets, if the board is going to stay with an early monthly meeting. The voters tries to be published before the next program, monthly program. So Julie kind of has a good part of the window in that decision, as well as the president. So we try not to ever miss an issue. It's all done electronically now. Years ago, we actually slapped labels on about 300 copies to send not only to members, but members of the media and public officials. And we've kind of scaled that back a little bit, but we're trying to make sure that key folks are receiving a copy, whether or not they're a member. I work closely with member services for that list. And then I'm in touch with each one of you from time to time, thinking about a story that you might need to have included in the voter. So I really try to do a comprehensive scope on that. And I'll be counting on you to meet the deadlines for whatever you write. And Eli, I just wrote you a little note and said, do you want to send me the text of what you read about DEI? That's very inclusive and might be a great inclusion there. We've also promoted the DEI lens that Alice furnished last month. So I look forward to all of that. I think just to keep up with deadlines, and I'll try to always supply you with those as they come up. And I'm a volunteer at heart, but I don't have time to call and remind people, but I try to send a couple of emails. And if you're not included, I may go after you if I know that you've had a voter registration event. And thank you, Alex, for sending all those pictures from Ray and Moody, and Eli helped with that. So love for photos to be included whenever we can. Some of you know that the League has all of its archives at TAMU Corpus Christi in the collections department at the library. So we try to make sure they get a year's worth of our newsletters, our annual report, try to look for things that strengthen the archives, since the League has all of its materials at TAMU University Library.
Chris, time.
Thank you. I do want to say one thing. I've lived here in town for more than 50 years. I've been married to Richard Garcia for 50 years. We just celebrated that anniversary. I'm a Carroll High graduate, Del Mar and UT Austin, former school teacher, former CCISD communications person for 20 years, and really love the League. And I love communicating about the League. So it takes all of us to do that in a meaningful and appropriate way. So thank you all for serving.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to encourage everybody to find a story to send to Chris, because she typically does do a call for stories. And so keep in mind as you go about your day and your weeks and your activities to kind of pen a little story of the event. So now we're going to hear from Sally. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for all of your service.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me talk to you. I really appreciate that, because I didn't expect to even attend this meeting, didn't get an invitation, and had to squeeze one out of, thank you, Tim, and out of Sylvia Campos. So I'm just going to wing it here. I'm probably the only one to talk to you this afternoon to say, well, my goals have been met. And they've been met because I'm looking at them right now on the screen with the new membership of this board. I was born and raised in Corpus Christi. I was a wharf rat. My daddy was the infamous old Captain Clark of the waterfront. And I don't tell a lot of people that until after they get to know me, because if they knew anything about him, they'd probably reject me. But anyway, I escaped the waterfront and went to law school late in life, and ended up back in Corpus Christi. But about the mid-1990s, I had to go to San Antonio to make a living, because as you all know, Corpus Christi doesn't pay very much. Julie knows that from more union organizing. But one of the reasons I hung in there with the League after I joined in 2012 was actually, I didn't know it at the time, but was to achieve the goal that I'm looking at right now, and that's this board. After I joined the league, it seemed like it really went sideways with regard to conservatism and issue avoidance. We had a lot of local problems in our community, but we just did not do issues. We were afraid of controversy. And one of the things I said kind of early on, if you feed people pablum for lunch at the luncheons, they're going to go someplace else. But I'm telling you, this group under Alice's leadership and all the rest of you, especially Julie's program, there's not going to be any pablum on anybody's plates when you all get through with them. You're going to have a really good time. My goal is to just congratulate you. Thank you so much for responding. And every once in a while to pop in to observe a board meeting to see how you get along. And that's it.
Thank you, Sally. Appreciate those words. Okay, so
The
is there
last
any-
one, the last
ahead.
one is Anel. Anel is here. I don't
Oh,
know if she
yes.
wants to speak or
Anel's
not.
not, yeah, she's got the league emblem up. Go ahead, Anel.
Oh,
I don't
hold
know.
on.
if she-
Oh, shoot.
We're hearing you.
Okay, well,
We're hearing.
I'm really, not even supposed to be here. I am just hosting the Zoom and will continue to do so as long as needed. But I really need someone, and it is not difficult. It is just the process of, setting up the meeting, making sure it gets started. There should be a backup person. For me, it was always Catherine. And whoever y'all decide on, I am happy to transfer this to somebody. And let's see, Sandy and I are going to be working on the May financial report on June 6th or 7th, I think. And we will get that out to everybody. And I think that's about it for me. Thank you. This looks like, Alice, you've got a wonderful board to work with here. And please feel free to call on me and for any help that you need with anything, mixers, voting. I am still plan to be a very active member.
All right, we appreciate that, Anel. Thank you for extending that ongoing invitation to us so that we can reach out and kind of tap your knowledge and yes, Liz, did you have something?
I was going to say, I'll be happy to do Zoom if Anel will walk me through it and someone else will be my backup. Since it kind of goes into me sending out reports and getting everything set up, I'll be happy to take on Zoom for the next year. So
there you go,
Anel.
Ask and you shall receive. Okay, I just want to take just a couple of more minutes. I don't want to labor you guys because I know everybody's busy, and I just really thank you for all being here. Few things, just a couple of things. In terms of the retreat, I have been in conversation with Catherine, and we're going to kind of meet with the group and try to decide on a retreat. We are thinking that it's going to be in July, maybe late July, I'm not sure. I just want to also let everybody know that Wednesday, 6 days from today, I'll be going into the hospital for a second knee replacement. So all of our meetings will probably be on Zoom. If there's anything that's going to happen out in the public arena, if it's under probably 2.5 months, I probably won't be able to attend. But I do want everyone to know you have my complete and total support. Anything that I can do, that I can get on the phone or get on the computer, just please holler at me, let me know. And I will do everything in my power to help out because I do believe in being a servant leader. I like to jump in, get my hands dirty. So with that, I also want to thank Tim for him organizing the media and the press for our recent election for all of our members. And he was quite effective. I don't know what he uses when he talks to people, but he was quite effective in getting people to call me up, interview me, and get information. So Tim, thank you so much for that. He calls me a rising star, but he's the one that made me. So I appreciate that, Tim, for all of the hard work contacting all of those media outlets. Then couple more things. I keep hearing this same refrain over and over about getting more young people involved and getting them to participate not only in the league, but also helping to get those students and those younger people to the polls. And I really like that because I heard that over and over as you gave your reports that one of the goals was to attract more young people. And I think with the young people that we have, you guys are going to be instrumental in helping us do that because you have your finger on the pulse. You are out there with these young people. And so I think that we are really going to be able to draw some of these young people in and hold them and also get them involved in working and also helping to stimulate that link between registration and going to the polls when there is an election. And so that is, I think, everybody's desire is to see more people go to the polls and cast their vote. You know, I hate to sound cliche-ish, but if we don't vote, we can't complain. And also our vote is our voice. So it's always good to have your voice heard in elections and anything. So I do appreciate that. And I encourage everybody to start working on these young people. I got some in my sight that I'm going to be tapping into. And I was at another meeting. I went to one of the meetings at the smokehouse Silverado, and one of the ladies said, well, if you're going to be president, I'm going to join. And I said, please do that. So we have got to encourage our friends, our neighbors. We used to have that old saying, each one reach one. So even if we could just bring one individual into the fold, we are going to grow our group, and we're going to get people that probably will be very diligent in helping us get our goals achieved. So I think that's pretty much all that I really have for this afternoon. I don't want to belabor you. I know you're tired. I know you're busy. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody here for being willing to come online and have something to say. Thank you for your goals. If you don't know it, I was making notes of everybody's goals. So I'm going to be here to remind you what you said you wanted to achieve and help you achieve that. Yes, Liz, go ahead.
One quick question. Are we going to have a board meeting in July, or will the retreat cover that?
Well, what I'm thinking, since the retreat incorporates the board, I think that we will probably have just the retreat, and then we will send out a publication after that, which would kind of bind the meeting and the retreat, the goals that we come up with at the retreat. That is to be determined, and perhaps we might change our minds, but at this point, I'm thinking of simply the retreat.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Because we would have
always-
to take out our time to do that. And so I just don't want to, put all of our time in meetings. I want to see, put our time into action.
Well, let's get you healed up too. Let's get you
Yeah.
mobile, because that first month, this is your second go around. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's
Well,
tough.
at least I know what to expect. First time
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Okay.
So before we go and say, can you say, okay, yes, I will. Is there anybody have anything else that they want to say before we sign off? Yes,
Alice, I
ma'am.
do.
Okay, I saw
Did Sally
Sally's hand go first and then Chris
Oh,
and then Brittany.
quick reminder, I think you have to have 10 board meetings a year. And to make allowance for holidays and things like that, you might consider combining your board meeting with the retreat. That way you fulfill your obligation to your obligatory number of board meetings and you get your retreat out of the way at the same time. Just a thought.
Okay.
That's what I call strategizing. Thank you, Sally. Taking that into note. All right, Chris?
Yes, I know in our budget that we just adopted, we have a major fundraiser that was mentioned for Women's Equality Day in August, on August 26th. And I missed a couple of board meetings in the spring, so I don't know whether any preliminary discussion focused on Women's Equality Day. It was a nice fundraiser last year. We had a silent auction. This is not the time and place to discuss that, but Alice, I did send you a little note about whether, that what will happen with that. It's a communications item as well, whether we would do that fundraiser on August 26th.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I'm making a note. Brittany?
Yeah, so just as part of like our social media campaign, and as I'm thinking and planning through a lot of things, I'll probably be reaching, I just wanted to give a heads up, I'll be reaching out to the board, individually, because I want to get some of you in front of the social media and maybe doing some interviews and things like that. So I'll probably be reaching out to people just to give you a heads up as I'm planning for the rest of the year.
All righty then, we got some good goals to work toward achieving. So yeah, Alexandra says it's on fire. So if there be nothing else, we're going to call this as my
Julie
little
has her hand up.
Julie. Oh, Julie, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of piggyback on Chris's reminder of Women's Equality Day. That a day, of course, is important historically, but also we use that funds that we make from that event for the voter guide. And so it's just something important to keep in mind. And I know that somebody, I'm sorry, sent out, I think it might have been a no. And it gives correct updated contact information for everyone. I know there's been some problems with that for people. So thank you, Anel. But it also has a slot there for like a chair for Women's Equality Day. And my understanding with bylaws, and Sally probably knows too, is the president can appoint a chair. So
Okay.
we might, it's kind of late to appoint a chair in July for an August event. I don't know. Something to think about today. I hate to pile things on Anel's plate, but she's been chairing that. She might want to break, but if you don't want to break, Anel, you might want to think about that committee, and I'd be more than happy to help in whatever way we can. All right.
My only issue is whether or not I will be here in August. I'm happy to help to the full extent, and I'm happy to share with Sandra, what all we did to get that going, because it is a huge responsibility for the treasurer. But I'll stay in contact, and the beginning is getting a location, and then getting out the requests for donations for the silent auction. So I think those are the two primary goals, is to settle on a location, get the menu set with whoever is going to do it, start putting out invitations and requesting donations.
And now, how much, and Chris, I know you know too, but it's two questions. One is how much do we usually make, or what's the goal of money to make from the WEQ? Because of the voter guide, about how much is it usually cost to publish it? Although I know we have to find a new publisher this year.
I don't have some specifics on that, but the budget does, the current adopted budget reflects what we expect in income and what
Okay.
we expect in expenses. I did reach out, the Caller, most of you know, the Caller Times has ceased its printing and is giving up its web press. I did make contact with the Houston Chronicle, the director of operations, Mr. Joel Meyer, and I'm to be in touch with him next week to send him just a phantom bid. They do print the voter's guide for Houston League. And so they're used to doing that, just like the Caller Times did for us. We paid for it, of course, but I should have some expenses from Mr. Meyer if the president wants me to continue that conversation and see what the timeline would be. We don't have anything until the primary, March 2024 primary is our first bit of income that's needed for the voter guide, depending on whether we can afford the Houston Chronicle and its newsprint press. So I'll have information for Alice first, and then she could share that with the board. We usually spent under $1,100 for that primary, and that included 10,000 copies. So we've got all the information for voter services to be aware of what we ordered, how much it costs, what other kind of donations we got. And there may be enough money in the budget to cover the primary, and then we won't worry about the general election 2024 until the next year's budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be glad to share any information, Madam President, if you want me to continue the discussion with the Houston Chronicle to see how much they would charge us for certain sizes of voter guides.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and just give you a thumbs up on that if you would continue that conversation. But I did have one question, and I think it was asked a while back, but doesn't Del Mar have a printing, some kind of printing presses?
There are really no other newsprint presses that I'm aware of, but I can do some follow-up. They use a lot of cheaper paper, but not newsprint. Newsprint made it very affordable because the voter guide is a throwaway.
Yes.
And we know that our age group loves that. And this may be a great time to decide that the league's not going to print it anymore, but that's certainly a board decision.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, we'll check into that as well. But if you would continue that conversation and get some kind of information on some kind of approximation of what we're looking at, so we'll know. And I really appreciate the suggestions that if we do have funds to go ahead and do it this time around, that we could maybe make some even bigger plans for the year after this, because we are coming up on a very short deadline. And so I'd like to maybe make the most of that. I want to ask one question and then, okay, Sally, you have your hand up?
Just real quick, in the event that we find that the timeline is just too short for a fundraiser in August, and I realize it's ideal because it's Women's Equality Day, but October is a wonderful month. It's cool. People like to move around in October. Maybe we might find another suffragette or women's equality event that took place historically in the month of October, even September. And that might cut us a little bit more slack to plan, especially since we have such a new board. Just a thought.
Yeah, I see some thumbs up and some heads shaking, nodding north and south as a good idea. So yeah, maybe we can kind of contemplate that, and I'll be talking to a couple of people, and we'll kind of come together and try to make that decision, because we do really need to get on top of this if we are going to try to do something in August. But October is a wonderful month, and that might be a solution to our problem. Yes, Anel.
And Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, but on the August 26th, Women's Equality Day is the celebration of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, and that's one of the reasons. And it was also, if I'm not mistaken, the beginning of the League of Women Voters. Is that correct?
Yes,
It was
And-
formed a few months before
Yeah,
the ratification.
and
they do some kind of national event though. Yeah,
yeah. But anyway, I think the state and national league expect us all to celebrate that in some form. I'm happy to go on a venue search and get that part started. You know, I love eras, but you know, I guess if you'd like something different, we can certainly look outside. And it's one of our big events. I don't think it's something that people mind paying a better plate charge for. Anyway.
Well, it could be, and another idea that we might want to contemplate, and this is just an idea, it's nothing set in stone. Okay. If we could maybe have some kind of outdoor event that wouldn't necessarily cost us a lot of money to celebrate all of those accomplishments and achievements. But then when it comes to maybe a fundraiser, maybe we could have a fundraiser at a different time, and then earmark that money for next year. But not to try to negate, you know, having something during the actual month that these things happen, the historical part of it. We could still have something, even if it's just like some kind of
Something.
yes, a march, and maybe have some snacks and you know, have somebody to kind of commemorate that. And it doesn't have to be something extremely expensive, and then later save the actual fundraiser part of it and have that money earmarked for the following event. That's just something that just, you know, we can contemplate, but we will kind of make a decision on this and we will get back to everybody. Okay, Sandra, did you have
I
your
was
hand
just
up?
gonna say, I'm willing to work with Anel right now if there's no
Okay.
problem with that. And I think I saw Brittany was willing to work with it.
Yes.
And quite honestly, I think we could probably put something together for that. We just probably need to do a little legwork right now before the retreat and just ratify it at the retreat if we can.
Sounds good to me.
If Anel is willing to do that with me, and I guess it was I think it was Brittany who volunteered. Yeah.
Well, three is a committee, so and you can count on me to bounce anything off on me while you're doing that, and we can do that. If y'all are willing to jump in and get busy, that satisfies me altogether. So as of right now, we're going to do this ad hoc committee for now of Sandra, Anel, and Brittany to get together and come up with some kind of a solution for us. Is that all right? Everybody in agreement? Okay, great. Good. I see some thumbs up, so that makes me happy. All right, well, that is pretty much all that I have. Yeah, I see some thumbs up. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Alexandra. Appreciate that for your thumbs up. Eli, she had her hand shaking, her head going north and south. So I always talk to my kids about north and south and east and west. So when I see a north and south thing, I think that's going to be a good thing. So having said that, if that is all that everybody has to say, we're going to officially adjourn the meeting. And I run my clock fast. What time is it? Anybody?
6:37.
6:37?
Oh,
Okay.
have to
That's
go.
okay, so that's just about 6 minutes over what we agreed on. So I'm really happy about that. All right, everybody.